Right, India have had a few days to sober down after what was a classic against Pakistan. They now need to get the job done against the Netherlands. It's at the Sydney Cricket Ground. That's what we're looking ahead to on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricinfo T20 Timeout. We'll hear from Stephen Fleming in just a moment. Before that, Anil Kumble in studio with me. I think the first question is, Anil, whether we've seen the best Indian 11 that's likely to play every game, or was that a horses for courses team? And at Sydney, are we expecting changes?
I don't want to say whether it's horses for courses, but I don't see any change happening in Sydney. I don't think it's fair on Ashwin, the bowler, or Axar, the bowler. So I think it's not fair. If at all you're looking to make a change, that perhaps could be one, or bringing in Chahal for one of them. But I don't see that happening against Netherlands. Unless there's an injury or there's a niggle for one of the players, then there could be a forced change.
All right, should I even bother going to you with that one, Flem, with all your years on continuity and how much you believe in that mantra? Any changes expected?
Well, that was the only one that I was sort of thinking about, whether Chahal offers some variations that might produce more wicket-taking opportunities than the finger spinners. It would be a little bit unfair, as Anil's pointed out, on the two spinners that played the last game, but Chahal's got such a good record, and often against a team that hasn't been exposed as much to Chahal, he might be an option, but that would be the only one I'd be considering.
All right, we did see Sodhi and Mitch Santner do a good job for New Zealand in the only game that's been played at the SCG in this year's World Cup. Right, let's assume it's the same lineup of fast bowlers at least. That's a safer assumption, and it just triggers a conversation we've been having for a while now. And let's go to Anil Kumble for what could be a bowling plan here. India got most things right with the new ball in the first half, Anil. They conceded over 50 in the last 5 against Pakistan. It took Pakistan to 160. Really tough. How would you like to see Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Arshdeep, Harshal perform their roles at the death?
No, I think, in terms of the death bowling, like I mentioned prior to the India-Pakistan game as well, I would go with Arshdeep to bowl at least 2 overs in the death, and then Shami and Bhuvneshwar Kumar to bowl the other 1 each, and those could be your last 4 overs. And that's how you sort of look to do that, and then have Arshdeep bowl 1 or 2 depending on what's happening in the power play, and then Shami and Bhuvneshwar Kumar to bowl the majority in the power play.
Flem, you do talk about the importance of adapting to conditions for bowlers in particular. Australia too, I think, conceded 56 in the last 5 in that game against New Zealand. It looked like India, after doing all the hard work, just let things slip in the last 5. Knowing the skill sets of the bowlers that'll do the job and the ground, what would you like to see from India's death bowling?
Well, Sydney may have one side that's always a little bit shorter, but apart from that, it's a little bit more even than the MCG, which can be big on the side. So you can probably go to a more conventional death, which will be like Shami spearing it in at leg stump with a bit of angle. So you don't need as much variation, but you might get the opportunity of one side being fractionally bigger. So whichever it is, that all 3 of those guys have the skill set to be able to operate. And the key thing is, in principle, you're trying to get the ball to that area of the field, the biggest area of the field, more times than not. So if you have that in mind, then just find the best ball to do that. And that was lacking a little bit the other day at the MCG, when especially when India were behind. Pakistan didn't think about where they wanted the ball to go. Well, they may have, but they were just sloppy with their execution. So that's the principle you're looking at. And certainly the Indian bowlers have more than enough skill there to deliver that.